Thank you. I think this is one of the best economic bill that President Tinubu have had. I have been saying it over and over again that this is one of the best reform in terms of the tax reform bill. It's one of the best that we've seen from any administration. What I like about it is the kind of growth that we create, especially in the informal sector, smaller business, giving them tax, really big tax holiday. And not only that, also the bigger companies will begin to, instead of a company income tax of almost 30%, then you are going to get about 25% company income tax. That will allow for expansion to other parts of Nigeria and create jobs, because 5% is huge when it comes to taxes. Then again, that also, what you say about that tax also is the taxing of the rich. The rich are going to pay more for a lot of things. Though I think that also should be commensurate with the kind of services they will have. Because sometimes you look at the rich class in Nigeria, they have to provide security for themselves and others. So if you are saying those bills are not going to come into play, then that means you also need to begin to improve security around a lot of people. So for me, that's one of the best bills that I think in terms of reform, especially economic reform, that bill is very balanced, especially also in the way it wants to grow smaller businesses. And also that bill also take care of the multiple taxation that will be complaining about, especially when you have to move your goods from one state to another. So for me, again, that's another game changer. That bill also will address what the government tends to be relief for maybe for 6 months or 7 months in terms of removing tariff on agricultural household item. That bill also will address it. So it's one bill that I think is one of the best bills in terms of economic reform.
The bill proposes a gradual increase in VAT from 7.5% to 15% by 2030. What are some of the anticipated economic and social impacts of these phased increase, especially for businesses and consumers?
I think that part of it has not been agreed upon, because I remember when the governors met with them, that was the part of the bill that they said should not be implemented, especially when it comes to that VAT, value added tax. I think that if that is implemented, it's going to add more hardship to Nigeria, because when you talk about value added tax, then you're talking moving to about 15%. That means you have increased the cost of goods by 5% in an already starving economy. I don't think that would be nice. And I think the governors have made that known to the tax reform bill. They made that known to the Senate, and I think the Senate also made that known to the chairman of the tax reform bill. For me, I don't think that is obtainable now. Again, when you look at the value added tax, remember there's a lot of controversy around it. Also, is it going to be paid to the states that also made that where those companies are located, or is it going to be sent into the federation account and be shared within the 3 tiers of government? You know, that's an ongoing issue. The governors made, that's why they didn't support this bill, and it was agreed that the status quo will remain, whereby this will go to the federation account. And I think it was then agreed that there should be a suspension in terms of an increase in the value added tax.
The Senate has approved a new VAT sharing formula. That's 10% for federal government, 55% for states, and 35% for local governments. And they've replaced the derivation with place of consumption in the allocation. What are the implications of these changes for revenue distribution among Nigeria's regions?
Something you should share about, when you look at the revenue that will be coming to the local government. Remember also the Labour government about that Supreme Court bill that will also help them to say they also will not be getting directly from the federation account. Before now, it has to go to the governors, and the governors in turn have to pass it to them. So one should also be excited about that. That also will bring development to the grassroots ordinarily, but even the state also. But when you look at governance and when you look at what they've even received since President Tinubu came to power in terms of revenue allocation, it has improved. But yet the life of the people have not really improved, and we have not seen the kind of development we've seen. But some of the governors will now tell you that some of this money are not being used to pay pay salary because the minimum wage have been hiked about to about 70,000 naira. Ordinarily, it's something to be excited when you begin to see government has more fund to do more developmental projects to improve upon, especially the local government and also the state. But unfortunately, if we want to go with the antecedent of what we've seen from state thus far, it's not something to be excited about. Or maybe you never can say there could be a change as regard this going forward.
We are always often good on paper, but I mean, in application, that's where we have challenges. What would be some benchmarks or indicators rather, we should use to assess the success of these tax reforms over the next 5 years, perhaps?
I think you haven't taken it. I think we don't even have to wait for 5 years. We have to begin to see this result in the next 1 year. What are my benchmark if I have to look at it? I want to see that multiple taxation stop, multiple levies stop, almost 230 something, 200 and something, over 200 levies. I want to see that stop. That's what this bill is trying to adapt. But I adopt. But I don't think that will happen because some states are already they are seeing levies as a means of revenue. So I want to see how that will work, whereby we'll not have so much levies again. I also be looking at how this tax will drive growth in one of Nigeria's most vibrant sector, the informal sector, the small businesses, how this will help them expand, how this will help them grow their businesses. That's one of the benchmarks I want to see. Revenue definitely will increase, especially to the local government. I want to see how that will also help the local government in terms of building infrastructure, bringing governance to the grassroots. That, for me, are the three major areas I'll be looking in this bill. And also see how these bills will also address those areas of social investment, especially in the area of healthcare and also in the area of education.
Muktar, as always, thank you for speaking with us.